That on 12 News Weekend, the end of a long gardening era in Brooklyn Center.
For a lot of people, they grew up shopping at this store.
Plus, spending big bucks for homes.
We are seeing some people move into the area that are looking for specifically $1 million plus homes.
We'll show you the area in high demand. But first, a new online scam targeting certain businesses.
We're pretty convinced it will jump over to other industries pretty quickly.
12 News Weekend starts right now.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us on 12 News Weekend. I'm Shannon Slatton.
And I'm Mike Johnson. A Robbinsdale man is speaking out about a new scam that targeted his photography business.
Brad Nyberg didn't fall for the scam, but as Cassie Bonstrom explains, he's still suffering the consequences.
Hold the basket.
For the past 2 years, Brad Nyberg and his wife have made photography their full-time job.
There we go. Now we're in business.
They do some portrait sessions in their basement studio, but a majority of their work is shooting weddings.
This one we shot down in New Prague. I think we ended up delivering about 800 pictures from the wedding. I'm sure you know the Minneapolis area is not lacking in photographers. You know, this is what puts food on our table.
With such vast competition, Brad is well aware how important online reviews are to his business's success.
I would say 90% of our business comes from people looking online.
It's why a new scam has him worried.
You just get an email saying, give me money or I'm going to write bad reviews.
It started a few weeks ago when he received an email warning him of an angry customer who was going to post nasty reviews online.
I have a friend who's really upset with you and he's threatening to post negative reviews in 25 places. And if you give me $299 US, I will talk to him and try to get him to stop.
Brad recognized the scam and ignored it, but within days, the reviews popped up.
They're horrible. They showed up 3 hours late. They didn't give me any of my pictures, blah, blah, blah.
For Brad and his wife, it's a no-win situation. They didn't lose money to the scammers, but they may lose business to the people scared away by the false reviews.
If the first thing that pops up is a negative review, we'll never even know they left. They'll just move right on to the next site.
This is something new under the sun.
The local chapter of the Better Business Bureau says this is a relatively new scam, one they hadn't heard of in Minnesota before learning of Brad's situation.
We're pretty convinced it will jump over to other industries pretty quickly.
And while it's so far targeting just photographers, they fear it won't stop there.
70% of people trust customer reviews, so it's one of those things where you really want to watch out there and see what's being said about your company.
It could completely destroy everything, and we'd never even see it coming.
The Bureau recommends people set up a Google alert system to track what's being posted online. That's what Brad did, and he's trying to focus on the silver lining while he also saves his reputation.
We hadn't been focusing on our online presence so much. Now we are.
That's Cassie Bonstrom reporting there. If you receive emails like Brad did, contact the Better Business Bureau. The Bureau also recommends that if you use the internet to make business decisions, take every review with a grain of salt.
Some much needed rain is in the forecast on Monday. Our area could use it. Most of the state is in a moderate drought. As we entered the weekend, this year is already the 8th driest on record. In the Northwest Metro, we're nearly 5 inches below average for precipitation. You can see the results in the water levels at area lakes and streams. The moderate drought is a story that started late last summer when a lack of rainfall was followed by a winter without a whole lot of snow. A couple of weeks of spring rain could correct the situation and help the growing season, but at this point, anything could happen in April.
If we looked at the driest years in history to date, it offers us no predictive skill as to what will happen in April. We've had half the Aprils in those dry years below the historical average. We've had half above, so it's generally a wash.
The snowfall we had this winter was nearly 2 feet below the historical average.
The planting and gardening season will soon be different in Brooklyn Center. A longtime garden store is closing its doors. The owners of Malmborg's nursery are selling their property and plan to close after the 4th of July. The property on Lilac Drive has been home to a greenhouse in some form or another for close to 100 years.
And for a lot of people, they grew up shopping at this store, coming here with their parents as a child. And so there's a certain kind of nostalgia to coming here.
Owner Troy Lucht wasn't looking to sell, but the right offer came along that will turn the property into a charter school serving the Hmong community. Malmborg's will still have its nurseries in Rogers and in Blaine. Those locations may expand. Some housing experts are forecasting a good spring for home sales.
Buying activity in the Midwest jumped in February, and as Eric Nelson found out, there is a pent-up demand for expensive housing in Plymouth.
This is no April Fool's joke.
When this came available, they went pretty quick.
Finance and Commerce newspaper has dubbed O'Donnell Woods as Plymouth's first $1 million neighborhood. And there is a pent-up demand for these pricey digs.
We sell a lot of homes to some relocation people, and we are seeing some people move into the area that are looking for specifically $1 million plus homes.
Proof of that is this $1.3 million house that is pending sale.
Yeah, I would say the market is getting better.
With 6,000 square feet, this is luxurious living. 5 bedrooms and bathrooms, a screened porch, an entertainment center, a 4-car garage, and an indoor sport court.
I wish I had about 2 or 3 more. We had, in the last couple of weeks, we've had a couple more people that wanted something real similar in this price range.
Developers are thrilled with this positive trend and hope it is not just a housing bubble. They believe the key to avoiding a down cycle like 2008 and 2009 is to not oversaturate the market.
They're not going to develop a bunch of pieces of land that are going to compete against each other. They're going to take it phase by phase, so again, so we can gradually sell.
Most of these homes sit on a 1-acre lot. This particular house provides a view of the woods right in the backyard. In Plymouth, I'm Eric Nelson reporting for Channel 12 News.
And home prices continue to creep up across the Northwest Metro. The most recent figures available show the median sales price increased more than 10% to $202,000. In Maple Grove, the median sales price was $252,000. That's up 11%. In Golden Valley, it was $268,000, up 34%. The number of new listings, by the way, also jumped 23% in February compared to last year.
In our week in review this past week was the kickoff for some big construction projects. MnDOT announced $1 billion worth of road projects. They include finishing the last leg of Highway 610 in Maple Grove and constructing a 3rd lane for I-494 through Plymouth. On the 494 project, MnDOT will use movable barriers to manage traffic and minimize the impact during the rush hour. In Robbinsdale, year 2 of the Lake Drive project got underway. Right now, work is being done from France to Indiana Avenues to accommodate school at nearby Lakeview Elementary. The work is necessary to replace aging water mains and sanitary and storm sewers. When finished, there will be curb and gutters, wider sidewalks, and a traffic signal at Lakeview Elementary. And Osceo's former police station has been reduced to a pile of rubble. The old house had been used by the Osseo Police Department for 17 years. The building had multiple problems, including asbestos and mold issues. The city's small police force now has a new home, moving into the addition onto City Hall. Coming up on 12 News Weekend, one industry where the job market is especially hot.
Then later in sports, a veteran Osseo softball team works out in anticipation of some big things this spring.
But first, chilly and rainy to start the work week on Monday. Welcome back. If there's one Minnesota industry that is shining bright when it comes to jobs, it's the state's solar industry.
More companies are coming onto the scene, and reporter Alexandra Renslow shows us one of them.
At Jim Bowler's house, the sun shines brightly on a project he's dreamed of doing for years.
Prices have come down. They're half the price that they were 10 years ago.
The retired engineer is talking about the cost of the 32 solar panels that Rebecca Lundberg and her partner Dan Williams are installing on the roof.
It pays for itself somewhere between 6 and 12 years.
With a federal tax credit of 30%, the homeowner will pay a little over $22,000 for this nearly 9-kilowatt system.
It should pretty much cover my entire power bill. I might have to pay a little in, or they might pay me a little back.
Lower costs and tax incentives are helping to fuel small solar companies like Powerfully Green, which started in 2007.
When we started, we were doing maybe 10 or 12 projects a year, and last year we did 47.
According to a recent report, Minnesota currently has 119 solar companies, and the number of solar jobs has grown from 864 2 years ago to 1,800 jobs.
you can't outsource boots on your roof. So there's a lot of small business contractors that are doing solar work and becoming educated in this field.
The solar project at Jim Bowler's house is in its final stage.
We got a little readout right here on the display, and we're making just over 7 kilowatts at this exact moment.
With the house producing power, the utility meter spins backwards, and that's a sight that makes Jim smile.
I don't have to worry about rate increases anymore. I've made my investment. It's going to be here.
It's Alexandra Renslow reporting. The federal solar tax credit expires in December of 2016. Well, coming up, a Plymouth musician reaches a significant milestone.
But first in sports, a local baseball team with high hopes for the spring takes the field with a new coach. John Jacobson is in next.
In the week ahead, many local teams in various sports will play their season openers. One fast-pitch softball team will field a veteran lineup this spring. Osseo has 8 starters back, including pitcher Courtney Calkins, who is now in her 5th varsity season. Osseo tied for 3rd in the Northwest Suburban Conference last season with a 10-4 league mark. And they like what they've seen so far this spring.
It looks like we pretty much picked up where we left off last year, which is a good start for us. And I'm pretty excited for our first game.
We have a lot of kids that have a lot of experience now and have been through some tough times the last couple of years and have some high expectations of themselves.
Well, 2014 was a good season overall. It ended much sooner than the Orioles would have liked. They lost their playoff opener in Section 5-3A and were eliminated. Changing the postseason performance is the main goal this spring.
That's right now our biggest motivation, to get past that first round. You know, we've been focusing, we have to start off strong and we have to finish strong. So that's been our main point, is getting a good seed hopefully for sections.
So we'd like to make a push in our conference. At the same time, you know, our eyes are set on the end of the season and doing much better and improved performance at the section tournament. You know, heck, you know, why couldn't we be one of the ones that end up there at the final? I mean, there's some tough teams there and we should be one of them.
Osseo opens the season at Wayzata April 13th. There's a change at the top of the Wayzata baseball program for this spring. Assistant coach Mark Elias is the interim head coach for the Trojans this season, while head coach Bobby DeWitt deals with a family medical situation with his son. DeWitt is definitely in the Trojans' thoughts.
Two nights ago, we spent our night together at the Wayzata Legion, doing some fundraising for him. We were doing just a spaghetti dinner, and so we've been doing that. We've been selling wristbands like throughout the school and just within the community, and so I think it's been really nice. I mean, obviously it's tough to deal with something like that, but I think overall we've handled it pretty well.
You look at a guy who's been passionate about baseball for years, been a big part of the program for every year I've been here, so 9 years now, and to see him not be able to do it and need to address the needs of the family has been hard to take, but completely understand it. And I think the guys here have done an awesome job just supporting me as I get into it and supporting him.
Trojans tied for 3rd place in the Lake Conference last season and were 3rd in Section 6-3A as well. Pitching should be a strength this season, and veteran catcher Jake Marsh returns too. This could be a pretty good team if things fall into place with the lineup.
I'm really impressed with how deep our pitching is, actually. We have a lot of guys that throw hard. Hitting-wise, we can scrap together runs, so I mean, I'm looking forward to that part too. But yeah, definitely the pitching is our strength right now.
That helps a lot, and we're still going to have to go out there and put up runs, but I think our guys are great athletes, and our team should be a lot of fun this year.
Wayzata starts the season with 3 home games against Burnsville, Champlain Park, and Osseo. The opener is scheduled for Thursday against Burnsville. A former Hopkins High School hockey standout who recently finished his college career at the University of Minnesota is now headed to professional hockey. Number 22 Travis Boyd signed a 2-year contract with the Washington Capitals this week, the team that drafted him in 2011. Boyd finished his senior season with the Gophers, scoring a career-high 19 goals while adding 22 assists. He netted 10 power play goals this year. He was named second team All-Big Ten. Boyd has joined the Capitals' AHL affiliate in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Teams were announced this week for the annual Minnesota High School All-Star Football Game. Several local players are on the North roster from our area, including Adam Brandt and Clark Winicky from Maple Grove, Jake Schopper of Osseo, and Karsten Salveson of Breck. 3 Totino Gray Skies are also on the North roster. Kez Flomo, Ben Mazinga, and Mitch Webb. Osseo's Darren Lampker is the North head coach. Joey Meidner of Hopkins will play for the South All-Stars. The game is June 27th at 1 o'clock at St. Cloud State University. I was going to say it'll be here quickly, but it's still a little ways off.
I know, before we know it. Thanks, John. Still ahead, a Plymouth musician who's had one amazing journey.
Her story that keeps compiling new, exciting chapters when we come back. A Plymouth resident is celebrating a professional milestone this weekend.
Nirmala Rajasekar left a successful career in computer science to chase her musical dreams. She ended up capturing attention all around the world. Here's Eric Nelson.
I'm trying to communicate with music.
Nirmala Rajasekar speaks a universal language.
One of my missions is to build bridges with music.
25 years ago this week, she began teaching Carnatic music.
Even today when I teach, I learn.
Which has its roots in southern India.
This is where I'm from.
And involves playing the veena. A 7-stringed instrument.
I would love to say it's my forte, but I've got miles and miles to go before I figured it out because it's 2,000 years old. It's an art form that's been around for a very long time. So how many times can we come across a piece of history in your hand? And that's a privilege in itself.
Rajasekar has traveled the globe.
As far as traveling, gosh, I've gone to so many countries. Thank you, music.
And has performed before kings and presidents.
It's given me so many opportunities to, I won't say rub shoulders, but I would say definitely greet and meet and share my love and my music with these people.
Rajasekar grew up in Chennai, India, but came to the Twin Cities 20 years ago and settled in Plymouth.
I consider it a great place to be a musician. The state of Minnesota is a boon for artists.
Minnesota has been the perfect landing spot.
We have some of the greatest theaters, some of the greatest performing spaces.
Rajasekar has reached the pinnacle of her profession. She's won multiple awards and even performed at Carnegie Hall.
That was a dream when we performed there.
But at her core, Rajasekar is a humble talent who simply wants to give back and make a positive impact.
But I also believe music is that power that connects all of us, and we can make the world so much a better place.
In Plymouth, I'm Eric Nelson, Channel 12 News.
And later this year, Rajasekar will perform for the first time in Dubai. And what do you bet when she goes, that instrument gets its own seat? Without a doubt. You think so?
And a guard or something.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing. It's like a huge guitar. You know,
it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
That's all the time we have for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you again Monday right here beginning at 4.